Hello and welcome to Nerding for Nature. Just before we get onto our feature presentation set in Mexico last year, I have two pieces of news. The first is that I lost my sound recording equipment in Mexico last year, and the result is bad sound quality, so I would highly recommend turning on the closed captioning in this video. You can find that right there. And the second thing is, you might have noticed I haven't been around much lately, and that's because of a whole bunch of life stuff. But as of 7 weeks ago, there is a new reason, and that is because Nerding for Nature has taken on an apprentice. Let me introduce you. This is her. This is the apprentice nature nerd. We shall call her Mountain Girl. So it will be a while. Oh! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll put her down. Okay, so enjoy the video. Hello. We are in Sayulita, like an hour and a half, I guess, or faster if traffic is good, north of Puerto Vallarta, and we're going on a hike up to Monkey Mountain. We're doing it with a guide because not only do we not want to get lost, but it's being led by a biology student who I only assume is a nature nerd, and we can talk about nature nerd stuff and learn a lot. Anyway, it's through Mexitreks, and everything I hear so far is that they're a fantastic company. So, let's see. It'll be fun! We're gonna have fun! What one is it?
The one on the very left side.
Okay. Why is it called Monkey Mountain?
It's actually because of a bad translation. When people first start exploring this area, they start finding small clay figures left by the indigenous people, the Huicholes. In Mexico, we call those figures monito or mono, but referring to small toy, you know?
Yeah.
The thing is that if you go Google Translate and you put monito, you get monkey. So it's not actually like Monkey Mountain, like the animal itself, but more like the mountain of the small clay figures. This tree is also a deciduous one, so during the dry season it loses its leaves, but starts with the seed production. And it's one of the biggest trees you can find all over Mexico. This is not ready yet. As you can see, it's all green, and the seed still being white. For the seed to be ready, it has to be like brown dark, you see? But these ones are now being used to feed on the cows, but also these have 38% of raw protein. So people is now trying to use these ones to feed on this one instead of the meat.
Oh.
So it's a good vegan option. The problem is that the tree just gives seeds during the dry season, so you don't have enough time for making like a big production and have many seeds. That one we call it jarretadera or cuernos de toro. Cuerno de toro, it's translated to bullhorns, but that's acacia tree. Those trees have developed symbiosis with the fire ants, so those thorns are hollow, and that empty place inside of the thorns provides a refuge for the fire ants. So they protect the tree from natural predators as fungus or termites, and then the thorns protect the fire ants from lizards, birds, or any other predator that they might have. So that tree is a double trouble. So if you ever see it, don't try to touch it because you might get stung or you might get bite.
What kind of ants are these?
We call them hormigas negras, but it's basically black ants.
Do they bite?
See. Not as hard as the fire ants ones. This seed belongs to the Higuera Blanca, which is that one, the white bark one. It's a parasite tree, native tree, and it's one of the biggest ones you can find around Mexico tropical areas. So all those tiny brown things are seeds that whenever it gets stuck close to a tree, they start growing really small, and then once they touch the soil, they start getting more nutrients, and they can grow as big as that one. They always grow around palm trees.
Oh, okay.
And as the English name says, the strangle fig, basically they just start grappling around the host tree, which is the palm tree, and then when they start getting bigger and thicker, they will just break the palm tree. There are like dark tunnels right here.
Yeah.
That is the way the termites get to go around the forest to look out for more food, because the worker termites, they have like really poor visibility. They are not fully blind, but they cannot see really well. So that's how they go like on a safety way.
How do they make it dark?
It's just by they chew it and then they start forming it. So it's by the like saliva, is that how you say it?
Saliva,
the
yeah.
Saliva that they produce, but also by the microorganisms that they have on the intestines. Mm. The termites doesn't really eat the cellulose, but they have a symbiosis with some microorganisms that the microorganisms feed on the cellulose and then they produce sugar.
Yeah.
They feed on the sugar made by the microorganisms who eat the wood. Hmm. It's from that tree right there. It's actually this same species. That one is called Palo Blanco. This tree is one of the beautiful ones you can find on the dry season, because during the rainy season it's nothing else but leaves. But then as the dry months come, it starts losing all the leaves, so it's a deciduous plant. Yeah. But then right on the middle of the dry season they bloom and they do these really beautiful flowers. Back to the deciduous jungle. You can clearly tell that by how brown it is. The green patch is tropical dry forest. The dry part, deciduous jungle.
Okay. Clay had been a trooper so far, but as we approached the second lookout, Clay was fading. Jan told us we'd only make it to the top if we ran, so we left poor Clay behind, and we caught the sunset just as it dipped below the horizon.
Tailless Whipscorpion. Those are arachnids, not insects. They have 8 legs, but those guys are the natural predators for scorpions and spiders and other type of bugs. Can you see how the spider just ran away from it?
Oh, I missed it. I see his big pincers though.
See? Those are the ones that he uses to kill. It actually has a really small mouth, so it's not able to bite. Basically what it does is it does like a hug to their prey until they bleed out, and it sucks the liquid from them. Huh. And then it will eat it part by part.
So these big ones are the guardians?
Mira, can you see how the head it's rounder, bigger? Yeah. These are the guardians, but these are the small ones. I've seen bigger ones. Mira, like those ones right there. You see those 2 big ones? These ones. You see how they are way bigger?
Oh, wow.
This is what I told you.
Is this one very venomous?
No. These are actually not lethal ones. The white ones are the ones that the smaller they are, the more venomous they are. But those ones you find them in the desert.
And here I am again, because I never remember to shoot outros in the field. If you want to subscribe to some other videos, you can take a look at some of them here. You can also subscribe to me right here. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all those kind of places. Okay, so long. Happy nerding.